Greetings.
Hello. Welcome back to Keyshan Tower. We've been
Thank you.
expecting you. Please, follow me. I'll bring you to the meeting.
Sure thing.
I hope you have been in good health since we last had you here.
I have been. And with recent developments, I figured this was as good a time as any.
I see. I apologize. I am not very aware of the happenings in the other districts.
Thank you.
We dress like professional corporate council members that we are.
And we have company.
Evening.
Hello. How you doing, Ethereal? Handshake.
Good.
That's like the professional thing to do. Good to see you. You can stand or sit, whatever you feel like doing. The chairs are a bit weird. But I doubt we'll take up too much of your time.
That's fine. Not too hard to sit.
Okay. Is this... Where's Herzog? Is he here? Present?
He's probably around.
Yes.
Oh.
Hate it when you do that. Okay. Well, it is good to see you all. I hope you are doing well. If you have not met Ethereal yet, Ethereal, I'm pretty sure most of you have met Ethereal. We had a meeting with him before. This is our catch-up talk. From our last session or last talk, we spoke about the benefits of Mr. Ethereal over here working possibly for ISB, joining us, working on behalf of our supply of power, our energy companies, and things of the sort, and taking on a more founded role here at our table. To which I think we are all dying to know the answer. But, Octavia, if there's anything you would like to bring up before we kind of get into that?
Everything that I bring up should either not be in the presence of Ethereal or only once he has formally joined the company.
Okay. Then, before we get into any detailed writings, work, contracts, secluded documents, whatever you want to call it, did you have any questions for us? Based on our prior talk that we had?
Well, to make sure I haven't missed anything, why don't you recap me on the exact details we went over?
Oh god.
Obviously,
okay.
I would be.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Come on, CEO, you can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, I'm a work in progress, CEO, okay? Okay, you may step in and clarify me if I am wrong at any point in time. But we think, based on the prior meetings that happened recently, we felt that you were more sidelined, disrespected, not looked upon for the effort that you actually put in to our city. And at Kaijin Tower, we would like to offer you a position, a permanent position here at the table with ISB, to work alongside us, to help us progress our power, to work alongside you for the backup batteries, to have you take a more vital addition to control Black Stem, which is our power companies, and to just help us in general with our power situation, which you would be working very closely with Overlord. Due to the recent events of Leap Foundry possibly taking a permanent position at Industrial Seat, we want to make it less of a competition. More something to benefit the people of our city, to unite people, not make this into some arms race for who deserves the seat. I think you've already proven yourself more than enough that you own that seat. But there are people atop of us that would like to see that differently. At the end of the day, this doesn't just benefit, we think, you, but it will benefit Kaijin. If we can get a foothold in Industrial District and work with you to secure your company, to provide funds to help you with your company, and to allow us to possibly, when the time comes, get you a more permanent position on the industrial seat. We are willing to help you get that seat as well when the time comes, which I imagine will lead you to stepping out of ISB and taking a more permanent seat in industrial, which will still allow us to have our deep connections that we once did. But that is a bridge to cross when we get closer. Perhaps maybe you would like to stay in ISB and be on the seat, but I will need to speak with the people at the table in more depth when it comes to that. But for now, more of a preparation stage. We want to make sure that you get that seat in the future, but we also need Leap Foundry to take that current seat for reasons that benefit us here. I hope that clarifies a lot, and if I missed anything, please.
I think that covers most of it.
Well, after recent events of depending on how much you've listened to the news or have viewed social media, to even be able to help in industrial at this moment with what's going on, I think it would be good for me to accept this. I don't know how much you've all seen, but there is currently blackouts all over the industrial district after Leap Foundry decided to practically wage a war for 24 hours.
This is news to me.
This happened
We have been-
recently? How recent was
We
this?
have been dealing with our own issues in District Zero as of recent, which I won't get into too much detail now for the signing of any papers, but probably why
5
we
days
missed
ago
it.
or so. Practically, they put out a global announcement across, or I wouldn't say global, but district-wide warning informing that LF would be sweeping the whole district, going after some extremist group or cultists, and heavy damage across buildings and power outages all over the place. Because
And this is their attempt to secure a position in the seat, I imagine?
that was their way of reaching out to people, saying they'll cover the bill, but we're going to sweep up so that we can protect industrial and render this threat that's been bothering industrial for the past several months obsolete. I don't like the way they're doing it, but as you know, a lot of people in Zephyra
love an excuse to be able to pull out a weapon.
Don't we know it?
So they got a lot of people to rally behind them during that, but there are still a lot of people refusing their help. It's mostly this minority of the people who could go out and fight rallied behind them, while the citizens themselves are still refusing help because they were practically the ones that blew up their infrastructure. But if they have the funds to literally rebuild the city. As much as I like to think a power station can make a lot of money, there's no way I could compete with that. And since that was one of the main requirements of funds and showing a force of power, that practically covers the majority of what they can do if they were at the seat.
Which I imagine with some side payments for working at Kaijin, perhaps maybe in time you will be able to use the funding that you have earned to get the same. To which eventually, hopefully you will be able to prove yourself to whoever you need to at that table.
In short, I simply showed what I can do to the people that were in the areas of each power plant. Obviously, we have a bunker for in case of a power plant going critical or anything like that. But we open those to the public to allow them to go in.
Cleaning up after Leap Foundry's messes and putting a name to it, I think would benefit all of us.
Yeah, the majority of synthetics that I have and robotics, all those that are focused on repairs, are working 24/7 right now in Industrial to try and bring power back up section by section. But it's going to take weeks to have everything back up to tip-top.
Hopefully we can get that done a bit quicker. So, you said you were interested in taking the deal officially?
Yes. I feel in the long run, being able to take this deal, because I know once the next council meeting comes up, I already know who they're going to place on the seat. So I'll let him keep running his race, see how much damage he does to the industrial district while he thinks I'm competing against him.
Does anybody have any questions for Ethereal at the table? Any disagreements they have about him joining ISB? Any questions that they think will perhaps maybe change Ethereal's mind? Things that he needs to think about before taking the position more permanently?
Not particularly a question, but just a clarification of your stay here, your position, and some of the details of that will be that you will be supervised by Overlord for the time being until we deem you have passed a probationary period and can be left on your own. We run things on a very simple one-strike system here. I will give you unlimited trust to do anything you need to do your job, but if I catch you once, you are subject to decommission. This includes speaking of official matters for Kaijin or ISB to anybody outside of this room, and disclosing any corporate secrets or ongoings in District 0 that need to stay under the table. All of that exciting stuff is grounds for decommission. For the power structure, you should, once you pass your probationary period, consider the other people at the table your equal. I am your overseer, and Aki is obviously the district councilman, so you will defer to my judgment and his judgment should he give direct input on any of the matters that we are confronting. All of that understood?
That's understood. And just to make clear, it is specifically, once I've joined anything ISB or Kaijin Tower or anything related of that information is completely no talking about outside of those who are working. But obviously anything that is involving the power plants that I run, I can talk about them if I want, obviously, because they are still under my name.
The power
As long
plants
as
outside
there's-
of District 0. The ones that you will be taking over and running inside of District 0, you should not disclose anything about. But if you have power plants in industrial that are owned by your own corporation, those, of course, are not our jurisdiction, so I will not restrict your discretion on that.
Understood. Just wanted to make sure that was...
We will have some NDAs for you to sign, of course, but obviously proprietary technology, anything that is loaned and or purchased by your subsidiary, your company, is not to be disclosed. They are trade secrets.
Yeah, anything that is pretty much labeled from your major company is not to be revealed.
And we're very open, so if you ever have a question about whether or not something is acceptable to speak about to a person, or if a person is acceptable to speak to, you can of course just ask any of us and they will provide you instructions.
Honestly, the only person who would probably ever question me about things would be my wife. But obviously I'll tell her most things I can't speak about other than just daily basic work.
Right. Great. Well, I am satisfied accepting that as a verbal contract until the formal papers are signed. Does anybody else have any questions or anything they want to pose to Antherial before I continue?
I got a pretty blunt question. You've been in the city a long while. Got to a pretty, let's say, nice position. You usually don't get to those without stepping on some people. Got any enemies? People that we need to be aware of?
Not really. I actually, as most people in Zephyr would probably be surprised, I did not go on stepping over people. If I had any enemies, it would be people I'm not aware of that might just have hatred for someone who didn't have to put blood on their hands.
Satisfies me.
Any others?
My question is not particularly important.
Still feel free to voice.
I was curious on how the public rally you and your guardian had discussed in the first meeting went.
For a time, it sounded like people were in an uproar, but it didn't gain much traction, and I think also an accident occurred during it, which caused... actually, I believe while they were doing that, I was told that one of the cultists that LF went on this destruction, or as they called it, a purge night, attacked the person who was speaking out. So they used that, I think, as a point for them to try and say they did it for others. But of course, that person absolutely hates LF, so she even voiced saying that they're just using this as a scapegoat to do it.
I see. I believe I now have a follow-up question, which is possibly more important. Are you comfortable working alongside myself, as I am a synthetic?
I literally have a side job that the owner is a synthetic, so yes.
Understood.
Yeah, I've been working with synthetics of all types for probably 6 or 7 years now, so I do not mind working with anyone, to be fair. I judge everyone based on who they are, not what they are. In the terms
You
of work.
understand the climate of District Zero, though, yes? And our current synthetic laws?
Repeat those again.
Synthetics do not have rights in District Zero. I just want
Okay.
you to be aware
Understood that.
if you did not know that. Understood.
I'm used to that in other areas. Again, funny enough, my boss, who is a synthetic, even agrees. We are not people. We are here to help people.
Not that you have to treat Knight any differently. We treat
Yeah,
them.
no, I'm still gonna treat them as who they are. Like I said, I don't treat people based on what they are. I treat them as who they are.
Your kind words are appreciated.
Final questions?
If you choose to wear upon our banner, we can trust that you'll act accordingly to our regulations, laws, go for as far as synths are concerned, correct? Regardless of your close relations.
What you do in Zero is the laws made there. I'm not going to try and change anything like that.
Taking that into consideration, with your acceptance to work or join our intelligence bureau, have you had the chance to gaze upon Zero itself? I understand you're familiar with the other districts, but Zero is a bit more unique in comparison to the others. You know
Not
exactly
too
what
much.
you're working with. Apart from what you've seen in this ivory tower of ours.
Well, if you ever want to understand what's going on, you can always come to me. Pleasure to meet
I
you.
can get
Agent Care, Head of Homeland Defense.
Pleasure to meet you.
I can get you acclimated to the business side of things, how this city actually runs. They can get you in. They can help you in assisting with the culture side of things.
Like a ride along. I've seen those TV shows where cops like take people in the pub. Yeah, you get it.
I will take that as final questions voiced. We have two rather urgent pieces of business to address, unless you want to bring anything up beforehand, Councilman.
Just to make sure, you are absolutely okay with doing this?
After getting enough time to review everything that's going on, realizing how things are starting to tip, he's definitely. I know now that they are appeasing to the council rather than the people, because at the end of the day, the council decides who gets that seat. And
We
I
are-
don't have the.
Still a corporate entity at the end of the day. And we do have to run things. And we do have to make difficult decisions, as I have learned being in this seat. Sometimes it won't be fun. And we do have a very crime-ridden district.
I think that's every district, to be fair.
Fair. Knight, if you wouldn't mind taking Ethereal aside and giving him the paperwork, and in a separate room getting him all signed.
Welcome aboard.
Understood.
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Am I free to use your office?
We
for
will.
this?
Please do. It'll be more convenient. And I do need Ethereal present for our second piece of business, but I will address the primary concern prior to his return, since I doubt it will involve him in any meaningful way. To lay them out, the two important pieces of business will be the activities over by, I believe it was 1007, and the power breaches
You may see.
we will be covering, as well as the tiger activity.
That the desk is okay?
For now.
Okay. I promise not to touch her computer.
This is your first.
Thank you. Okay.
Here are all of the rest. When you're finished, please let me know.
Sure thing.
Along that border to find locations where tigers are getting supplies in from. Some of them will not be in the north zones, as there is a possibility that they are receiving some equipment from within the district. And we will do our best to locate that source and disconnect it to create difficulty for them in performing a large-scale raid using the ship to remind them that they cannot be sending robots to terrorize the streets or blowing up things willy-nilly that affect over one zone. That explosion is totaling somewhere around between 5 to 10 zones that it is affecting currently. So, these have gone on too high scale, and we unfortunately need to get our hands a bit dirty, so I will be sending several of you in to deal with that. Is there any relevant information to this any of you want to put on the table before I determine your exact assignments and locations regarding this later today? Yes, Karen.
You had seen my video report of Vito's reply, yes?
Yes, indeed we have. And his partner in that video, the unnamed unknown woman, will be one of the prime targets that we will be chasing during this raid. We don't have exact locations, but there are a few guess hits that we can send out at the very least to send a message. And while we have agreed primarily to stay away from the main combative zones that they have referred to as the front lines, we will be sending some units in there, specifically with the objective to destroy those synthetics.
Concern avoided. If we're destroying their magic deck.
That is my main concern. Where are they getting these weapons? They had a tank. And while a tank is technically not illegal to own in Zero, it is illegal to have it militarized.
Right. This is exactly why I am sending groups to scout exactly where they are receiving some of these. If it is internal within District Zero, we can shut down perhaps a black market ring that is illegally selling some of this high-grade weaponry or supplies. And if we find that it's coming from outside the district, we plug the leak.
Go if you want to just check over these. I think everything should be filled out properly.
Hold on. Welcome aboard to the ISB. I look forward to seeing your progression, and hope that you do not get dissuaded from your career choice under Overlord's supervision. They can be assertive.
That's fine. I'm married. I'm used to people being assertive.
I see.
It was a joke at my wife.
Ah. I'm not very well aware of such relationships. However interested I am in these things. If you would follow me, we can return to the meeting.
It is a distinct possibility. If we are finding that items are being teleported into Zero, surely they will be leaving some sort of magical signature which we can investigate and ideally disrupt those safe locations which they are having items transported to. We will target then the location rather than the person casting the magic themselves.
There is that.
Herzog has had their hand up for just a second.
Ship that is continuing to fly over from Market. He still does not give us the manifest for it, unless that has been dealt with.
That has been done.
I am not touching that. Okay.
That was dealt with.
Herzog, what would you like to bring up?
Thank you.
You want to come sit in theory?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but what if they are not only using those illegal ways, but they are getting these things in through legal means?
Peacekeepers should be confiscating these weaponry and sending them directly to Kishin Tower.
Well, we should
What if
not
they're
blatantly forget
correctly
corruption.
brought in here? Exactly.
Corruption is also a thing.
I am still
Being
attempting to
handled.
weed that out, sir. The peacekeepers are my responsibility, especially the ones out there on the street. I'm investigating what I
Assuming
can.
that we have no
Though I
corruption.
may need to work
Even
in
then,
tandem.
what if they're just able to mark these things as something they are not? Get this in here through legal means. Everything looks correct on paper.
You believe they are smuggling in these
Shipping.
goods?
It's a
Sorry, can you
possibility
repeat that?
that they're smuggling them in. We can attempt to up the amount of checks done at the border on cargo manually, but we might run into the same issue of border units being paid off or, similar kinds of ideas. So we will send perhaps care to manually investigate some of those.
If I may, Director,
Sure.
I would like to work in tandem with Herzog and Lockdown on that. Assisting, if you will. Not their main priority. Lockdown for the more digital side of thing, and Herzog for the nooks and crannies I can't exactly reach.
I will keep it in mind when I divvy out those assignments later. I think we have a good grip on starting points for this issue, though, so I will be formulating your primary and secondary objectives and handing those out later today. So please be on the lookout. It's going to be a busy week. For the second matter, now that Antherial has returned to us, again, correct me if I'm wrong on the exact zone that this occurred in, but I believe it was 1007. There was a attack tigers who dug up a power line. Sorry?
That's the correct zone, yes.
Oh, perfect. There was an attack by tigers on a power line. They disrupted and destroyed part of the piping and exposed wiring, which led to a expulsion of magical energy in that zone that affected some of the surrounding zones as well, and brought in these, from what I understand, strange stone-like, metallic-ish construct things that were attempting to congregate around this magic expulsion. We definitely need your expertise in Ethereal along with Overlord here to investigate that zone, particularly repair the damage done to it, see if you can find any information on what those kind of magical construct creatures were, why they are there, where they are coming from, weaknesses, strengths, anything like that. We have... Oh, have you encountered them already?
You're describing things that are very similar to something that I came across about a month ago. Did anyone get a clear visual of them, or were they white in nature with blue crystals?
Yes. Something akin to that.
They had like lightsabers.
Yes, they did have some sort of light blade. I believe they were vaguely spherical in shape with several appendages.
There's a big one as well.
A few of them, yes.
Yeah, as far as I am aware of them right now, they seem to congregate to areas that have a sudden increase in mana density. They seem to be feeding off of it, and then they'll just leave after they've taken what they need, or take from people who are in the area, or anyone that attempts to intervene in what they're doing.
Very good note to know, as this explosion was quite a rippling effect in its zone and the, I believe, 5 zones surrounding it, and potentially 6. We have cordoned off all of them. The witnesses, many of them were inoculated and given amnestics to ideally forget the event. We've done media campaigns. Those who could not be inoculated were dispatched, and the current damage zone is cordoned off, so we will send you to investigate that. But this may need to be a longer-term lockdown if indeed there are now people who are suffused with mana that these creatures may target. We do not want communication going in and out, rumors spreading, videos spreading of these creatures popping in and out of the district, so that place will remain a dead zone until we can completely confirm that there is no further threat of these entities appearing in that area.
If I may, ma'am.
Yes.
Cover-up story for it. That plague that ran through, about a year ago or some such? Resurgence of a mutant gene.
We could post something like that. I will consult with our PR experts to see if they suggest anything similar or think it's a good idea to put out something like that. Currently, we have the entire area cordoned off and its surrounding zones with military checkpoints due to a security concern due to old, faulty, and damaged equipment from a previous transformer location is what has been put out. So you are aware.
That and some of the zones are currently in a media blackout.
Yes, all, I believe, 7 zones should be in a media blackout. There is no cell service, nobody enters or leaves under any circumstances. Anybody caught trying to enter or leave is arrested or shot. It is a pretty typical lineup there. So, ideally, we'd like to get this handled as quickly as possible so we can reopen these zones. But I'm not willing to risk mass panic or spread of these entities, so for the time being, we will be labeling all 7 of those a dark zone, which ideally we can contain further and further until it is more akin to the size of the other dark zones throughout Zero.
A bit of a concern for that. During those events, while myself, Overlord, and Hemlock was not here with us at present, but since down to the area, there was a group of gang. There was a conflict going on, which involved tigers at present and whispers, which, as far as I'm aware, were not memory wiped. So they still have present knowledge of that situation.
And while they are not as numerous as they once were,
they still have plenty of an ear to reach out to the rest. And they are not ones to stay silent after such a big cataclysmic event. Have they said anything thus far?
nothing
Well,
else
we
in
know.
the public. And that's much is true, yes.
They might even have recordings of the event.
I don't think the Whisperers are a large threat in this instance. It was a relatively small group of them as well, that even if it comes from a trusted group by civilians, these things are far out of what any person in District 0 has ever witnessed before. This is similar to just going out and saying Bigfoot is also real and he is in this zone. Even if you have some videos can be edited. This is, I think, too far out of the realm of most of the populace's general understanding for it to be a concern. They would come off as rambling.
Want to underestimate the Whispers? I believe if I watched some of the recordings back, there were some pretty influential people there. Now, I'm not saying our public is completely blindsided, but a lot of our public believe in the Whispers, see them as a pillar. If they even decide remotely to send out these recordings, or if we make up a fabrication of why this is happening, they could easily be like, no, here's the evidence of what actually happened. This is your tower lying to you. I'm just concerned, and I don't trust them not
Are you wanting
to
us to
use
talk
this
with them?
against us. I think perhaps maybe a deal would be beneficial, or a talk to Mr. Henderson.
They've been more amenable than the Tigers, so I don't see why we
Eager
can't
to
give
get
them the
on our
leeway.
Good side.
But that's not my place. That's up to Octavia.
Again, I'm not too concerned. I do think that if they release those videos, they are putting themselves in a position of ire to us. While we naturally do not want to antagonize them by going and doing things such as amnestic treatments to make sure they forget the events. In the same vein, ideally, they will not want to provoke us into forcing our hand into those kinds of actions. I can reach out some feelers, but ideally that is the understanding that neither of us is willing to poke that bear.
It also sounds like they released it, it'd just be a lose-lose situation.
I fail to see the benefits that they could gain from releasing such information to the public.
Other than
Right,
panic.
it would simply be to cause doubt upon us, which we are banking at this point on the fact that they don't want to have a negative relationship with us based on their previous actions. This is less of a what's in it for them and more of a what happens if they do.
I agree with Kara on this. At the moment, the Whispers are the most amicable towards us. They are willing to accept what we have to say. Sometimes they do what they're asked. Other times they have been odious. Other times they have been a monumental pain in our ass. However, they have complied with a great deal of things that the Tigers have not even given an inch on.
Right. Right. We can, again, potentially reach out some feelers to make sure the understanding of the situation is mutual.
And if the issue persists, well, we can always have our lockdown here just mosey his way into the base that they have and take the information.
Yes, he is extremely adept at making sure information disappears, so I have no concern that should push come to shove, we have
As
the assets to deal with the problem.
As a light reminder, if nobody has seen the recording yet, there was a meeting that I attended. I spoke with Jonas and his want to become a council member. Jonas is, I think, problematic. I think currently it doesn't seem that way, and some of the flowery words he used seemed beneficial and like he knew what he was talking about, but I think his involvement in the council could detriment us in the future. I mean, just him being a side whatever he was when we had the council member, I feel like he spoke out of term a couple times. And I think this could detriment us in the future. It seems like he's got a pretty loud voice. I just would like everybody to take a look at that recording and make a judgment for yourself. I feel like this is going to become relevant soon at our table.
Jonas becomes a problem. We do also have now a favor banked from LF, which we could potentially use again to sway a vote.
I asked Jonas, well, I made it very clear to him that I wouldn't give him my vote in the meeting if it meant him using teleportation to enter our home and things like that, and he seemed very distant from this idea. He said that it meant his business would go under, and the mercenary hired group that he has, he needs reason to keep people around. I'm obviously not explaining it as well. There is a recording for you to see for yourself, but it seems like he is more than happy to have people come and go throughout our facilities. If it means the money's good.
There is also, speaking of Jonas, a corporate party that he is currently hosting, which I believe you have an invitation for. If you decide to go.
When is that?
Right now.
Ew. God, no. The last time I went to one... Oh, Malleus. I'm good. Hey, you can go in my stead. Go represent me.
I think I'm alright.
Okay, well, there you go.
If anyone, Octavia, I think should represent you.
Absolutely, Octavia.
All
You
right.
wanna go party?
We'll see how I feel. Maybe I'll go show face, but... I believe that covers most of our work for today. Any questions, concerns last moment before we depart here and I assign everybody their work?
Just to make it clear, ma'am, to everyone at the table, due to their current actions, the Tigers are currently labeled a terrorist organization until we take our corrective measures.
Is this true?
Is it true? I think we will hold off on a label or a public provocation, something like that. How you think of them is fine. How you deal with them in the field, that is totally fine to categorize them that way, but we will see how they react to our upcoming, as you said, corrective actions. If they play nice, then no need for anything further than that, and we'll let them go back to their street squabbles. But if they continue to lash out aggressively towards us and the public, then we will continue our campaign against them as necessary.
Wonderful. Ethereal, welcome to the ISB. If you have any questions, as before, please make sure that you utilize everybody here.
Sure thing.
They're a little serious, so, like, you know, be prepared for them.
I can be less serious if requested.
You're perfectly fine.
You can come to Denny's with me and my taxman. They would love to have another one.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm gonna go play Xbox.
Everyone is dismissed then.
Miss Octavia,
What? What
Yes.
sassy words you...
I was not present for the first section of our discussion.
Ah, yes. The short brief is that Tigers have conducted several large-scale attacks over the last month and a half, so we are sending a message that they are not welcome to continue these large-scale attacks, specifically such as the explosion taking place in the northern districts. We're also concerned about where they're getting high-grade weaponry, so I'm sending some of you out to find locations where they might be getting weapons smuggled into the district. And then aside from that, we will be targeting several high-profile targets within the Tigers for raids. So later today, I will be assigning those exact locations and raids to each of you, and you will all be sent out on runs for that.
I had some ideas of a similar nature to this, but I will follow your orders.
Me up. You showed up to work. I'm proud of you.
Great. If you have anything, please feel free to send me a message or leave me anything on my desk.
Nice.
But I will be assigning those locations.
Are you saying that I do not have a good track record of showing up to work?
Would you like some licorice?
What's wrong with you?
Hey, you wanna go play Xbox?
Yes.
I'm tempted to
However,
why are you dressed like that?
On his
Where's your professionalism?
I've told them, sir, we're going to take them out to the mall, we're going to get them clothes, we're going to go to a tailor, we're going to get those clothes fitted, and you will look proper.
This guy doesn't know where he works. Can you believe that?
His new attend corporate functions and the like, even if they're with co-workers that you don't like.
Would you say
like I can take you?
I
Just
said,
the two of us
don't you
together.
have to
Appropriate
attend
attire.
functions with your co-workers?
I will
Because that's
schedule a
like
time.
your job description, you know?
Yeah.
You want to take the card now, or do you want to have that later?
Not at all.
That's what.
Not
That's
even
what other
send anyone
people
in your
look for.
stead.
Well, yeah,
Fair.
Octavia. Or you can go if you want. Hey, in theory,
Is anyone aware of the
You wanna go to
phrase tied to
Jonas'
his
party.
My
On behalf
title
of-
is Homeland
I-
Defense,
Implants
sir.
by
I'd
chance.
have to be home for
I didn't do the coding it for it myself.
No.
I have not been
Oh,
using
that's a
the
fresh
phrase.
Is your face okay? Go check him over. Bring him down to Monday. He needs a full scan on his head.
Shut the fuck up, I'm fine.
Indeed.
I think we have to be worried about our council member.
He's
I'm
fine.
glad that there's someone on the same page as me in the meeting. That's cool.
I mean, I
now you
believe
don't
in
have to-
people
everyone you talk
normally.
to, you don't have to do this.
Like
Yeah.
these don't exist.
Well, your faith is truly shattered if
Taller than you,
you're
sir.
reconsidering this now.
Yeah, but I have to like arch up a little bit, which I just wish I didn't have to.
He's learning.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job, in my opinion.
Fine, I'll go get my combat armor.
So what can you tell me about this one?
Oh god. No, please no.
I
This
can tell you
is-
Oh,
that.
you should take him around in the ship
But
sometime.
what night?
Oh my god, it's so cool.
It'll just make me angry.
Check it out.
Yes, though it is expensive to move it.
This is our
Mm,
criminal
well,
insights.
I will spare it to show
I
you
have
around.
been running them through simulated
All right, I gotta head out because
Timelines.
important council member business to do. So
where I've
Eating
hidden
licorice in an office, playing
high-end
Xbox.
criminal activity.
fuck?
They have been
First of
tasked
all,
for finding these criminals
I've got
and determining what they have done, and then
stuff
reporting
on
them to
my
me
Xbox
as soon
that
as
requires
possible.
my attention.
This
This one
is-
undercover.
Sir,
more
your
of
itinerary is
a
currently free.
personal understanding.
My Stardew Valley.
They know
farm.
how they
How
think
else am I meant to
and
make them
act,
flourish?
because they have
without,
been one
like-
of those individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
The aim
Priorities, sir.
is to
Yeah, duh.
use
It just
them
became
for
winter,
saying I could
real
reset
life
values in
situations.
Stardew Valley.
finding criminals quickly so that their
And therefore cripple
damage
your
can
entire
be
economy.
minimized.
That's not
They've been doing well.
Just for the reaction.
Waiting patiently.
Well, I look forward to seeing your results. What is your name?
Anyone? Aries. I don't know if I can go by my code name yet. I don't know how that works.
I can
You will
discuss
address
it
me
with
as Hemlock. And I believe we still have to get our assignments from Octavia.
They will be sending those assignments out when they have finished determining who is best suited for each task.
Well, I'll update her either way on my work.
If you would like to return to your home, I can summon for you a car.
I'm so tired.
I apologize that I was not present to bring you here. I
It's okay.
hope that there was no further damage done to your home like last time.
My door has to be replaced again.
Noted.
I say my door, but it's kind of your guys' door. I don't really care about it.
It is important for keeping you safe.
Okay.
It will be fixed before you return. The car is waiting for you downstairs when you want it.
Is there a vending machine here?
I do not remember if we have one installed downstairs in the cafeteria. But there should be some food and refreshments down there. Still. Oh dear.
If you want to be a campaign piece, I don't have an issue with you.
Darling, we can give you the whole media spin. It'd be fantastic.
That's
With all due respect.
Out there more.
Well, you do suit a good promotional aspect. The majority population of District Zero is human after all, and may look down on your heritage.
That's why I'm not saying
Keep
my
the helmet
face.
on.
Myself and that is going to be separate.
Okay. Well, I don't think a mask is a good idea. People need to see a face, see that we're human.
Do they?
They do.
Or do they just need to
Creates a
believe I'm
connection.
human?
Darling, look at all of the superheroes that you've seen in every single comic book and how many of them show who they are.
It's your decisions at the end of the day. Just giving my word on it. I see we've exchanged meeting rooms to here.
Yes, I
Well,
have
no,
regathered
that was
my
my-
entire retinue over.
That was my only question, ma'am. Have a good day. I'm going to go get a
You as
coffee. Would you like one?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Darling, we should make comic books with you.
What?
We should make comic books with you. It would be fantastic.
I mean,
It'd reach so many people.
Whatever you want to do, I guess. I just mean going out there and doing more. I saw like a video people filmed of me, like I told you the other day. Gave me the idea.
Fantastic. Send me that video. We'll send it all over the waves.
Sure. I suppose if I can find it again.
Questions?
I was looking for Councilmember Aki. He requested me to play Xbox with him.
He's currently in there. He's playing Xbox and all that stuff.
I see.
Yes,
So-
he has let himself into my room to play Minecraft on the Xbox.
Is there even an Xbox in there?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Octavia, do you play Xbox?
I do not have time for such things.
Do you have enough?
Sorry?
Do